What is going on, everyone? I hope you are all having a fantastic day. So, we talk a lot on this channel about different ways to make money and optimize your finances. And while that has allowed me to share a lot of my successes that I've had, I feel that it is just as important to share with you the failures that I've had. Now, over a year ago, I shared with you how I lost several $1,000s from day trading because I had no idea what I was doing. But today I want to share with you another story about a dropshipping store that I started in high school and how I lost over $10,000 selling products online, or at least trying to. So today let's talk about 5 mistakes that I made when trying to sell products online myself, so that you can learn from these mistakes, whether you're trying to make money from dropshipping or some other method of selling products online, or an entirely different side hustle altogether. Alright, let's jump right into it. Okay, so first, before we get to those 5 mistakes that I made, I'm sure a few of you are probably thinking that this entire video is about 5 years too late. And while you definitely don't hear people talk about things like dropshipping or Amazon FBA nearly as much as you did a few years ago, I would argue that online sales and selling things online is at an all-time high. And while the specific model of dropshipping is definitely not as popular as it used to be, the idea of selling something online and making money from that is alive and well. And there is absolutely a path for you to make some serious money by selling products online. However, I will caution you right now, as we're going to talk about today, it is not as easy as some people make it out to be. And unfortunately, most of us are not going to be raking in hundreds of thousands of dollars in profit overnight. Okay, so the first mistake that I made that you definitely want to avoid is that I picked a niche that was way oversaturated. If I'm being completely honest, I'm not even entirely sure what my niche was, but my store, which was called Urban Extension, was kind of a random assortment of things that I thought were cool. But specifically, it was things like belts, watches, and wallets, and that kind of stuff. And that category of products has been and will continue to be very, very oversaturated. Now, on that note, the second mistake that I made is very similar to the first mistake, and that is that I tried to build out an entire brand of products, if you can even call it that, before learning how to effectively pick and sell one product. Regardless of what you were doing, you need to walk before you can run. Now, based on my failure, you definitely don't want to be taking dropshipping advice from me. However, one thing that I definitely learned looking back on the entire situation and the experience is you can absolutely make really good money by selling just one product online. I mean, you'd probably be surprised how many products that you buy on Amazon and other websites online are actually just being purchased and resold to you by an online seller. Just like a lot of things, it really does come down to branding and how the product is marketed. And if you can learn how to effectively put the right product in front of the right person, then they are very likely to buy that item. But as I learned, showering them with an assortment of random things that they probably don't need is not the most effective strategy, regardless of whether you're a professional salesperson or just trying to make a buck selling products online. So instead of the fishing net approach where you throw out a bunch of random products, I would go with more of a dart approach and pinpoint your customer and the product that you think they are going to buy, and if you can do that effectively and consistently, then the sales will probably start rolling in. Okay, so the third mistake that I made is probably the most common mistake when it comes to dropshipping, selling products online, or honestly just any way of making money, and that is I was not patient or persistent for that matter. Now, this is a huge problem that I see with dropshipping in particular, but honestly, this goes for most other methods of making money online. But it can take months, if not years, to become an overnight success. I mean, I even experienced this with this YouTube channel in a lot of ways because I think I went into it with unrealistic expectations, thinking that success was just going to fall into my lap. But if it was that easy, then everyone would probably be making tons of money by selling products online and making YouTube videos. So regardless of whether you are trying to sell a product online or doing any kind of side hustle in general, you have to be patient, and more importantly, you have to be persistent. Because as I've talked about in a lot of previous videos, it is so easy to jump from one side hustle to the next, and before you know it, you've tried pretty much everything with half effort, and everything appears to have failed, but really you just didn't stick it out long enough and allow it to succeed. So my suggestion to you, if you are going to go down the path of any kind of side hustle, is that you need to set a game plan for yourself beforehand, meaning how long do you want to stick this thing out before calling it quits if it's not working. And depending on what you're trying to accomplish, that might need to be a year or even more before you can can expect to start making some really legitimate money. Again, this YouTube channel has grown at a very consistent and moderate pace, and by no means has it blown up from one video overnight, as nice as that would be. But after posting consistently and sticking it out for over a year of making nothing, it started to generate some really decent income for myself, and it's something that I really love doing. So with this one, just remember, be patient, be persistent, and as everyone says here on YouTube specifically, be consistent. Alright, the fourth mistake that I made that is the exact reason why I lost over $10,000 is that I paid for things that I could have gotten for free. Yes, I hate to admit this, but I thought that I would be rolling in it in a matter of weeks, and as a result, I justified the cost of multiple ridiculous overpriced online courses that honestly taught me information that I could have gotten for free here on YouTube. Now, I'm absolutely not bashing online courses in general because I do think that they get a bad rap across the board. But personally, I feel that there is a lot of good information to be learned from certain online courses. In fact, it wasn't until I bought Graham Stephan's course on how to start a YouTube channel that I finally worked up the courage to post my very first video on this channel. And that's probably one of the best decisions that I have ever made. But that course was only a few $100s, I knew who Graham Stephan was, and as a result, I knew that I was going to get a lot of value out of that investment. But we all know that that's not always the case, and you are constantly going to see those flashy ads on YouTube and other platforms on how you can make $100,000 in your first month dropshipping. And again, it just goes back to that idea of setting realistic expectations from the start. But the big thing to keep in mind here is that just because a course is more expensive does not mean that it is better. I bought a course that was well over $1,000 on how to dropship, and when that failed, I bought another course on how to do Amazon FBA. And if you're familiar with how that works, that means that I bought a ton of inventory that never sold. And before you knew it, I was just tired of it and I wanted nothing to do with selling products online. So again, there's nothing wrong with paying for a course, in my opinion, but be smart about it and don't dump a crazy amount of money into something without knowing that there's a decent chance that you'll get a return on that investment. Because at the end of the day, something like a course is a form of investment, and you wouldn't invest in a stock if you didn't feel that there was a decent chance that you would get a return on your money. Okay, so all four of those mistakes are really great lessons that you'll want to keep in mind, but they all kind of tie into this fifth mistake that is actually what led me to finding a lot of success in terms of making money online. And that is, I was doing dropshipping for all the wrong reasons. I'm sure we've all stepped in this trap at some point, but going into any side hustle with the sole mentality of making money is a fantastic way to crash and burn really quickly. Now, personally, I don't know anyone who necessarily loves spending their time dropshipping outside of the fact that they're making good money doing that thing, but again, this applies to literally any side hustle regardless of what it is. I don't care if you're flipping electronics, dropshipping, or starting your own YouTube channel, you definitely need to enjoy some aspect of the process if you want to be able to stick it out in the long term. Because again, it's probably going to take a decent amount of time before you start making good money. And as a result, if you're only in it for the fact that you want to make money, then you'll probably just quit. So for me, dropshipping in a lot of ways was a stepping stone because I had no passion for dropshipping or the products that I was selling, and I just wanted to make money. But eventually, that led me to start flipping electronics, and I enjoyed that a little bit more, and I had knowledge and passion for electronics. But eventually, that led me to starting this YouTube channel on personal finance, which always has been and probably will always be my main passion in life. So the fact that I started this YouTube channel on a topic that I already love talking about and could literally talk about all day meant that I was able to put out videos consistently for an entire year without seeing any return on those efforts, because I love what I'm doing here, and eventually the money became a byproduct of those efforts. So I've talked about this before, but regardless of what side hustles you were trying to dive into, even if that's not selling online, make sure that it's something that you were interested in some capacity. And whether you're trying to dropship or do something completely different, I think these are 5 mistakes that can teach all of us a lot of really valuable lessons for a lot of scenarios in life. As always, I would love to hear what the niche of your online store is, or what other side hustle you are currently trying to make some money online. And of course, if you did get value out of this content and you want to help support me, it would mean a lot to me if you would hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone who you think would get value out of this content as well. And of course, thank you so much for your time, take it easy, and I'll see you in the next one.